Scripture, I did it 13 times. Right. I think it wasn't right. I did mine. It wasn't right.
All right, we're ready? All right, so let's create a story problem today. So remember, we've been learning the +9 facts. That's adding +9 to a number. So like 1 + 9, 2 + 9, 3 + 9, and so on and so forth. So could you create a some more story problem using those +9 facts? So you can go ahead and write that down. So any one of them that you want to pick, it has to be +9. Okay, so 1 + 9, 2 + 9, 3 + 9, 4 + 9, any one of those, okay? So go ahead.
Oh, can I get my sharpener to sharpen my pencil?
All right, is anybody ready to share their story problem? All right, go ahead. Let me hear.
Tom had 9 toys. Mom bought one that equals 10.
Okay, 1 plus 9 is 10. Good. Anybody else ready to share theirs? Okay, go ahead, Faith.
I have 2 Jolly Ranchers, and Mom bought me 9 more.
Mhm.
So 9 equals 11.
Yes, she had 2. Mom gave her 9 more. 2 plus 9 is 11. Good. Anybody else, Kinley?
Cody Evans had 6 Jolly Ranchers. What more? 9 plus 1 was 10, 10, 10.
Okay, 9 plus 1, 10. Okay, Dennis, Savaya, Joshua, you ready to share? Okay, Dennis.
I have 10 hats. My mom gave me more. 10 plus 5 equals 15.
That is true, but we have to do plus 9. Yeah, we have to do a plus 9 facts. But that is 1, 10 plus 5, but I had wanted plus 9. Yeah, so it's good. That was a good fact. It's just I had wanted to practice the plus 9 facts. Okay, Avaya?
I have 9 gumballs and I got 100 more gumballs. How many do I have? 109 gumballs.
Yes, 100 plus 9. Good. Okay, Josh. That is. Joshua, you ready? Unmute.
If I had 5 toys and my mom gave me 9 more, I have 14.
Good. If you have 5 toys, you get 9 more. 9 plus 4, 5 plus 9 is 14. Good. All right. Awesome. Okay. And Narayan?
I have 2 toys and I have 9 more. Now I have 11.
Yes, 2 plus 9, 11. Good. All right. So these are your new plus 9 facts. So continue to practice those. Okay. More and more and more. All right. So yeah, we're still on the little sleep paper. Okay, ready? Can you draw me 4 pairs of socks?
Easy.
Draw me 4 pairs of socks and just show it to me on the screen. 4 pairs of socks.
I don't know how to make socks. I mean, I can just grab a sock and just trace it, but I don't know how to write sock.
Pairs go together.
Students. How do you write?
That's okay. It's okay if you don't know how. Just maybe do circles if you can't draw a sock. That's fine.
It wasn't.
But why are you getting that when you have a notebook?
My notebook got lost.
No, it's in there. I saw it earlier. Here. Pairs. Let me see. Okay. I don't. You put 1, 2, so that can't be 4 pairs.
Why does it say Tony Evans right there and also Ken Newcomb?
Because that's somebody's name.
I never knew Newcomb. Here you go.
Yeah. Could you circle them for me, Avaya, so I can see? Like circle the pairs. Okay. Okay, anybody else is ready? Pairs.
Here. Ow. I smacked myself. Earrings. Wait, is this a new page? Yeah, but it says there's new page. See? There they are. Right, 4 pairs. 4 pairs of what? Socks.
Okay, so that's 2 pairs, Avaya.
Yeah.
It's 4 pairs.
I don't know. I made 4 pairs.
That's not 4 pairs.
But 2 plus 2 is 4.
Mm-hmm. That's 4 socks. Okay, yeah. Let me see, Joshua. Okay, that's also 2 pairs. Okay, so don't get confused with 2 pairs and 4 socks. That's not the same thing. It's 2 different things.
I get it. I get it. I will get it too. Okay, I'm just almost okay.
Okay. Let me see, Kinley. Okay, so this is what 4 pairs should look like. 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. If you did only 2, you did 4 socks, but a sock, remember, 1 single sock is not a pair. It has to be 2 together in order for it to be 1 full pair. So that's 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs. This is what 4 pairs look like.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my bag. Doriah, look. Doriah. She said no Ryan, not Doriah.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay, yeah, that's 4 pairs.
No, what are you gonna take?
All right, so one more thing we'll do on our little sleeve. One more thing.
Okay.
So remember we learned dozen and half a dozen. Can you draw me a dozen of cupcakes?
Oh no.
Can you draw me a dozen cupcakes? Let's see if you know how many that is. A dozen cupcakes.
Can I write something else then? Cupcakes?
You can do cupcakes. Thank you.
I don't know how to do cupcakes.
Just do circles again. Thank you.
This looks good.
Done.
Okay, you can just put it up. Let me see.
You copied my stuff. You can't copy it. I'm passing.
Okay. Anybody ready? There
Well-
doesn't.
Well, I'm gonna pass 5. I'm gonna go to 6.
Okay. Okay. So does anybody remember how much is a dozen?
I know
12. And that's what
12.
12. Okay. Can you draw me a half a dozen of donuts? A half a dozen of donuts.
Well, I was actually trying to, but now I know it's 12.
Okay, so
Donut.
a half a dozen of donuts.
Oh, 12 minus 12. 6.
Done. Half a dozen 6.
2, 3.
What?
4.
Mine is the balls with the marks on it.
Half a dozen donuts.
Okay, good. I see you, Divine and Joshua. Good.
Okay.
I showed.
Forget about the circles of the dozen and just look at the half a dozen.
Okay.
Hold up, half a dozen.
Not six, just it's just called. Mm-mm.
I spent all my money spinning 12 bracelets and broken. Didn't scratching it. It's 12 and I'm not playing it.
All right, so how much would a half a dozen be?
6.
6. So a full dozen is 12, a half a dozen is
6.
Awesome.
Students, I did what you did. I did. I wrote the
line. Yeah, good. All right, awesome. All right, let's do a little bit of board work. Kind of go into a new type of fraction.
Today.
How you know?
I said it. But I said Carson's not coming today. I knew that. I was thinking about it. I knew that he wasn't coming today. I said, oh, yeah.
All right.
Go.
Let's practice some time. Okay, what time would it be?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay, let's try another one.
I can't really see it.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, what time? Okay, Dennis. That's 11. Sorry, it might not be clear.
11:30.
11:30. Good. All right, let's practice plus 10 minus 10. So I have 38 plus 10. 38 plus 10. Anybody knows what would be 10 more than 38?
48.
48. 71 minus 10. 71 and 10 less than 71. Going back 10. Back 10.
61.
61. 42 plus 10. Adding 10 more. 42 plus 10.
50.
52.
3.
Okay, and 96 minus 10. I'm losing 10. 96 minus 10. Okay, go ahead, Dennis. 96 minus 10. Going back 10.
It's easier.
89.
90, yeah, 86. 86. Good. Okay, let's count the nickels. Remember, nickels we count by fives. Glares. All right, let's see. I'm trying to get the glare out. All right. Count the nickels.
Jack is under there.
All right, anybody wants to count it for us? All right, let's see, Narayan.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 41, 42.
Good, 42 cents. Awesome. Is that what y'all counted?
You okay? Yes, you.
No, that was her. 42 cents. Good. All right, so let's talk about some fractions. So we've already learned how to divide shapes into certain amounts. So remember we talked about halves. What does that mean when I divide a shape into halves? How many pieces will I have with the shape divided into halves?
2.
2. And I can simply divide it in half by putting the line down the middle. Half. And remember the fraction will be 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2. So today I want to practice how to divide in thirds and 6.
6.
Yep, 6.
I know how to add.
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. So whenever you see thirds, how many pieces do you think they want you to divide into when it says thirds? Thirds. How? How many?
3 pieces.
3, obviously, right? It's thirds. So if I have a circle, I could divide into thirds. I could put 3 lines, or 2 lines to divide it like that. 1, 2, 3.
The other way. And you can do this, and you can do this way.
Okay, I can also divide it into thirds by doing a line and going out like that.
What?
Thirds.
That's how they got it up there.
Yep, that's how the fraction is. Yep, up there. So there are many ways I could divide in thirds, but we'll do it this way, the way that I just had it. So anytime you have a circle to divide in thirds, that's how you divide. You start with the line down the middle, and then you'll go out like that. Okay? So thirds. That means we have 3 pieces in a circle. So when we did 1/2, our fraction was 1 out of 2. What do you think I'm going to put in each piece of the third? 1 out of 3. 1/3. 1/3. 1/3. Because I'm saying this is 1 piece out of 3 total. So this is divided into thirds, 3 pieces. What about 6? How would I divide into 6? How many pieces would 6 be? 6 pieces, obviously, right? So let's divide into 6.
Whoa, 6 is a. Oh, yeah, I know how to write 6 like that.
That's probably not a good one. Hold on.
It's there if we forget, so you gotta do a line. I did it to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so 6. What I did was I did 2 diagonals. I did 1 diagonal line across, another one across, then 1 across the middle. 6 pieces. So what would my fraction be for each piece inside of the 6? 1/6. 1 out of 6, just like thirds.
1 out of 6. 1 out of 6. Hey, 1 out of 6.
See that? So dividing into thirds means you have 3 pieces. 6 means you'll have 6 pieces. Thirds, 3, 6, 6. Our fraction in each piece will be 1 out of however many pieces we have. So in thirds, it'll be 1 out of 3. In 6, it'll be 1 out of 6. So today, you may...
I've seen it in your book.
Yes, today you will have it in your book, and it'll tell you to color a certain section, a certain color, based on how many pieces it is cut in. So we have halves, which are 2, thirds, which are 3, and 6, which are 6 pieces. Okay? All right, awesome. So that's it for math today. It was a couple things I wanted to go over. Let's go ahead and move on to our writing.
I wrote it down. Writing, science, social studies, language, and phonics.
Okay.
Yeah, and reading. Yeah, read it.
All right. Science, social studies.
Oh, we gotta do phonics.
All right, let's move on to writing. So remember yesterday in writing, we started talking about what's called initials. Does anybody remember what initials are?
Yes.
What does it mean when I say initials? What does that mean? Does anyone explain to me what initials are? You want me?
Yours in there.
Okay, anybody?
I know. It's on your pants.
All right, Kenley.
Whenever you have your first and last name.
Okay, not quite when you have your first and last name. That's just your name.
Oh yeah, I know now.
So
First
initial.
part and your.
Okay, what you got?
Your first part and your last part. Wait.
Okay. Anybody knows?
I know.
Okay.
So you have to if you have a name that starts with a T, then you put T and C.
Okay, yeah. So okay, that's getting closer. All right. Anybody? Dennis, Joshua, Vita, no? Initials. Okay, Dennis.
Oh.
Could you explain what initials are? Wait, you keep muting. Yeah, it's going on in and out. Yeah, like keep it on mute until after you're finished talking. Okay, well, now it's mute again.
The first and last start of the name.
Okay, y'all close. I think we kind of got it. Okay, so So remember, your initials are a shorter way to abbreviate your name. You will take the first letter of your first name and the first letter of your last name. Those two letters together are what we call your initials. So remember, when you're writing your initials, they have to be capitalized first, right? They have to be capitalized. And what are we placing in between the letters? What do we place in between the letters of your initials? What are we placing?
Dots.
The dots, right? So today I have 3 names on the board that you'll give me the initials for. So you'll write down their name and then give the initials, okay? So these are my 3 names. We have Tony Evans, Peter George, and Sandy White. So write all 3 of their names down and then put their initials.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so go ahead. I'll give you a minute. Let's see if we remember. So remember, you take the first letter of the first name, first letter of the last name, and you write their initials with capital letters and you place dots between them.
Oh,
Okay, so write their name first, the full name, then put the initials. All right, I'll give you like 2 minutes. It shouldn't take too long. Yes, capital T, capital E,
and dot.
dot. Those are his initials. Okay, Peter George. How should I write the initials for Peter George? Okay, Dennis, Peter George.
Capital P dot
Capital
capital G.
Dot, capital G, dot. Good, initials. And Sandy White. The initials, Naraya.
Capital S.
Capital S,
Dot.
dot,
Capital W.
W,
Dot.
dot. Awesome. All right, so that's how we take someone's name and we give their initials. So this is pretty easy. All right. The test, that's all you have to do this
like
week
a piece
on the
of
test.
easy peasy test. No, easy peasy. What of a piece of easy peasy prefix? Prefixes. Yeah. Prefix. A B A and B and C. Prefix. Prefix. Prefixes. Yeah, I would like prefixes. Okay. It's fluent. I would want to work in a nursery.
No, me neither.
No, I want to work in a nursery.
Okay.
My mom and my dad say they gonna have to sign me up for
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our phonics. So we have phonics and reading, science, social studies. I don't know, got a lot of other things to do. All right, so today we are on charts. Remember, we're moving on. We have moved on to chart 12. That's our next chart that we are on. Our new chart.
100.
Okay. All right. So after me, we'll say it together. After me. A says in a sleep.
A says in a sleep.
A L says all and also.
A L says and also.
B E says B and because.
B E says B and because.
N says in and enjoy.
N says and enjoy.
UN says un and unbutton.
UN says and unbutton.
WR says and wrinkle.
WR says and wrinkle.
OULD says ud and could.
OULD says and could.
You have to look at the chart to say it. AIR says air and hair.
AIR says air in hair.
Boss says has hands. U says and push.
U says and push.
OUGH says up and enough.
OUGH says and enough.
OU says and ARR says air, in carry.
AR says air, in carry.
IRE says ire, in fire.
IIE says ire, in fire.
So remember the first 5 sounds on our chart. Anybody remembers what they're called? Not suffixes. They're the opposite of suffixes. They are called prefixes. So remember, we have been talking about prefixes, of adding a prefix to a word. Well, I'm sorry, identifying a prefix. So remember, when we learn suffixes like ing, ed, ly, en, when we learn those, suffixes go where? At the end of a word. But when it comes to prefixes, it's a little different. Prefixes will go at the front of a word. So we mark it the same way that we mark the suffix. We underline the root word and circle the prefix. Okay? So today, we'll move on to our next 2 prefixes, which are AL that says all and BE that says be. Okay? So let's look at the first one. Anybody? What's my prefix? What's my root word? Okay, prefix.
Which one are we on?
AL.
AL.
So AL. Oh, what's the root word?
AL.
That's a prefix. Root word.
Oh.
So, what's the word? Also. Next one. Identify the prefix and the root word. Okay, prefix.
I need a root word.
AL.
And ST. You just
AL. You only identify the prefix AL. And what's your root word? The root word is the word that's by itself. Most. Underline the root word. And what's the word?
Almost.
Next one. What's my prefix? Okay, Dennis, prefix.
AL.
Root word.
Ways.
Good. What's the word?
Always.
Next one. Let's look at BE that says be, like in because. What's the root word? BEB. What's the prefix? BEB. What's the root word? Side. What's the word? Beside. Next one. Prefix. BE. What's the root word?
Underline.
Long. What's the word? Belong. And then our last one.
Belong.
Prefix.
BE.
BE. And what's the root word? Tween. What's the word? Between. Good. So in order for a suffix to be a suffix, it has to have a root word as well. Okay. So that's important to remember.
She was playing.
Playing what?
Okay. She's not even reading with me. I was on my thing because I was on a page when.
Why? All right. Okay. You have to wait for I finish because you're not going to know them. Okay. Let's go ahead and read some words, identify some sounds.
We circled them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you can circle them. Yeah.
That's gonna have a
sword. It says.
Yo.
You can't do that because my hair. They're playing. Like, because that's. Every time you do that, I'm crazy. I'm happy. When I put my hair in a ponytail and I take it out for a long time, it stays up. Like, you know who's this girl?
Oh, some people aren't going outside today. Mm-hmm. Y'all want to stay in? That's fine. We can do that. Throw it away. Throw it away. So let's go ahead and read some words here. We're going to circle the sounds. Okay, start us off. What are my sounds? And then what's the word? There's only one sound in here. L-E-O. Okay, and that's it. So what's the word? Look at that B at the beginning.
Bubble.
Bubble. Good. Next one, say. Okay, word.
Sunday.
Sunday. Next one, Kinley.
Cars is not here. That's
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
That used to be one of our spelling words. Oh yeah, they lied.
Okay, no, that's not L. That's not all. It's the other one from yesterday.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. It is not a special okay. Okay.
I know a prefix and root word. So your prefix is not AL.
It used to be one of our spelling words, girl. You know, she should know how to do it. I know.
What's your prefix? Prefix is not an L.
It's a prefix. It's on there.
That's not a prefix. So you have ALL, BEB. What was the prefix we learned yesterday? That was the first one. Okay, thank you. What's the word?
Like.
Like.
Girl, why you
Okay, next one. Okay, Avaya. Oh, no. What's your prefix? You're on mute?
AL.
Okay, not
Oh,
AL. It's not AL, it's the one from yesterday.
AL.
AL is today. And loan. And yes, the word is alone. Okay, next one. Root word and suffix. Root word and suffix for this one. Root word and suffix. Underline your root word. What's the word?
Smelling.
Smelling. And then last one, Dennis, what's my sound?
Oh yeah.
And this one down here, what's the sound? You can close it. Put it right here. You're on mute?
L-E.
L-E, what's the word? Unmute again.
Table.
Unmute again.
Table.
Thank you, table. All right, so next, let's go ahead and add some suffixes to these words. So I have ESS, ERR, ING, and ED. So you can pick which suffix. All right, so Joshua, you'll come first. You'll go first. So dish, which suffix do you want to add to dish? We have ES, ER, ING, ED.
I know.
ING.
Okay, and so it'll be, what does the word turn into?
Fishing.
Dishing, okay, and no rule has to apply because that's a special time. Flip, all right, flip. How should apply one to flip? So how would I write flipping?
FLIPPING.
Good, we have to double that P because that's a sharp vowel. Next, glide, okay, Dennis, go ahead, add one of the suffixes.
Yeah.
You keep muting it before you can get your word out.
ES.
Okay, so how would I write that?
G L I D ES.
Okay, so what happened? What did I need to do before I added ES suffix? No, not double the E. You told me it right. I had to take off this E.
Take it out.
Yeah. And freeze. 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 Give me one. Freezing. How would I write it? FREEZ. Could you stop? Look at that silent E. What do we do to silent E? So no E. It just needs to be FREEZING. Good. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get out your reading, Balto.
My book is open. Okay, well. No, for real. Oh my gosh, Mariah. You broke your book. I don't know how that happened. I'm not the book. So how you gonna read that? I can read. You know, after we get to all of these things, like that cake. Let's go to your right, broke your book. No. You know that already. I don't know what's there. And I'm just gonna read like this.
All right, so we are on page 32. It won't have 32, but you'll see 33. That's how you'll know. So remember, Balto and Gunner have joined the race. They were waiting. They got delayed a little bit while they waited because the snow kind of slowed the other teams down. They were behind 2 days. But finally, the team gets here, and now it was time for them to go. Gunner yelled mush, which meant go, and so they were heading there. 32. On their way there, remember, they got caught in the deep snow. And so Gunner had to pull each dog out. So let's start to see how the rest of their journey is going to go. 32. Okay, all right, come on, Kenley. All right, 32.
Then the team crossed a frozen river. The dogs and the sled slipped and
Skidded
on the ice. Oh no, over went the sled. Gunner got it up again, but the medicine was gone.
Okay, keep going.
loudly. Gunner
Gunners, right?
dug for the medicine. He could not see through the heavy snow, but at last he felt the package. He put it on the sleigh.
Good. Okay. So they're now crossing a frozen river and it was super icy. So they started to slide on the ice, right? And what ends up falling off of the sled?
The medicine.
And that's not good, right? Because that's the whole thing that they're trying to get, right? The medicine. But Gunner digs for it and does he find it?
Yes.
And he puts it back on the sled. All right, 34 or 35. You can say 34 is just a picture. Anybody? 35? Okay, come on, Ray. Come on, Ray.
The team kept going across the river. Suddenly, Balto stopped it.
Stop. Just stop. Not stop it.
Stopped short. Much Balto should Gunner, but Balto did not move. Then Gunner saw why the ice was cracking. If the team fell into the river, they would all drown.
Okay, so they kept going, and then Balto, remember, Balto's the lead dog. So suddenly he stops, and Gunner's telling him, "Mush, go, Balto, go." But why wouldn't Balto go? What was wrong?
The ice was breaking.
And if the ice was cracked and they fell in there, would that be good for them?
No.
No, that would be really dangerous. Okay, they would drown. So let's look at 36, 37.
It would be like,
Anybody?
I would like to. What they doing?
Okay, come on. Yeah, I was trying to see if they were raising their hand, but they're not.
My dog.
Can I read?
Okay, next page. All right, go ahead.
Balto had stopped just in time. Smart dog. Gunner told him. Then he saw that Balto's feet were wet. If they froze, Balto would never walk again. Quickly, Gunner.
Unhitched.
Unhitched Balto from the sled.
Another one. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah. All right, good. So after they finally cross the ice, he sees that Balto's feet are frozen. Why could this be dangerous for Balto?
Because he would never
Well, they were wet.
walk again.
Yeah, well, they were wet, and then they would freeze, and they would, his feet, he would not be able to walk his paws. So Gunner had to make sure to hurry and try to get him. Okay, 37.
I thought he led the dog to a patch of powdery snow. Gunner read Balto's power in the power. Soon there was dry. Balto was powered.
Ready.
Soon there were dry. Balto was ready to go.
One. Good. Okay. So he hurried and dries off Balto's feet with the powdery snow, and his feet ended up drying. So that was good that Gunner moved quick like that. All right, next page, 38, 39.
Can I read?
Yep, you can do those 2 pages.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why I can't hear you, Joshua. I don't know why we can't hear.
Land again.
Oh, okay.
When they still on the trail. Gunner had no idea. The snow blew so hard.
That's why you're not going out.
Could not see his own hands. But Balto had run this trail many times before now. It was all up to him.
Good. All right. So finally they finished their portion of the race, right? And so then they finally reached solid land. And so now Gunner can barely see where to steer the dogs because the snow got harder, started to blow a lot harder. So now it's up to Balto if he's going to be able to follow this trail and lead them where they need to go. Okay, so we'll stop here today, and tomorrow we'll actually finish the story of Balto. Okay.
Yep, we got another.
So it's not our only page. I've been asking for people to read.
Is this the
All right.
picture of him?
Let's go ahead and move on to science.
Give me some. And then we gotta do our final part. Oh yeah, we already did it. I forgot.
Yeah. Okay, page 88 in science. We'll continue our lesson on ants. So last week we started talking about 88. Y'all can do it in here because I don't want y'all in the room together. I know y'all can go in the hall. Get 2 chairs and go in the hall.
Okay. I'll bring the book.
All right, so last week I introduced the ant to you. Remember I told you the Bible talks about ants. It talks about how wise they are and how hard they work as well. And so ants, they can carry things up to 6 times their size. That's how strong they are and that's how hard they work. So we have an ant home is called a colony. That's where they live inside of their colony. We talked about the worker ants. Those are the ants who basically do everything for the colony. One of the main things they'll do is get food for all of the ants. But the baby ants are the only ones that can eat food. The adult ants have to drink liquids. But the worker ants still have the ability to give liquids to the adult ants because they have 2 stomachs. Remember, they'll drink and store something in one stomach, and then they'll give it to the ant. So let's look at 88, where we'll continue to talk about the worker ants. So the worker ant has other jobs too. She also has to take care of the queen ant and all of the babies and all of the queen's eggs. So those worker ants have a lot of work. They not only get all the food, but they also have to take care of the queen, the eggs that the queen will lay, and all of the queen's and all of the babies. So they take care of the queen, the babies, and the eggs. So they have a lot of work that they do. So how do they take care of the eggs? The workers will lick the eggs to keep them clean, right? So that the eggs don't get dirty. They'll lick them to keep them clean. If the eggs, so if you look at 89, do you see how they have all like those tunnels and everything? See how so that's like their different rooms inside of their colony. So ants have all these different little rooms. So they'll keep the eggs in one certain part of the colony, But if that room gets too damp, meaning a little too wet, or if it gets, if it's something like that, they'll take the eggs out of that room and move it to another room inside of the colony. So that's a lot of work, right? They got to make sure that the room is the right temperature, that it's not too damp. And if it is, they have to move all of the eggs out of that room. So they'll move it to a cooler room. As the queen ant lays more eggs, the workers will build more rooms. And so that's what I told you. We usually see the top part of the ant colony where like the dirt is, but all that dirt we see is actually all the dirt that they're digging up in the ground. So that's why we see the dirt on top. That's all the dirt that they dug to dig all their tunnels and their holes in the ground. That's all the dirt that they're pushing up to make all these tunnels. So that's what I said. An ant colony is actually deep in the ground. So yeah, if you do touch an ant pile, you will see them come out. But a lot of times they are actually inside the ground. They have these little tunnels here. And so they have the tunnels. They have a room for the eggs, a room for the queen, a room for the food. And that's what I talk about. So as the queen lays more eggs, the ants will build more rooms for the eggs that she's laying. Some rooms are for eggs. Some rooms are for the babies after they hatch. Some rooms are to store food. And sometimes there's even a room for trash. So yeah, that's cool. So they have all these rooms inside of their colony. It's really amazing how they take the time to build their colony and they're able to build all these different rooms in their colony. Okay, so let's look at 90. The worker is also a good housekeeper. She keeps the nest very clean. So we can learn that from the ants, to keep things clean. Some colonies have workers that will even mow the grass. Their lawnmower is their jaws. So some ants will use their jaws to keep the grass around their colony sharp. So yeah, those workers work hard. That's why they're called worker ants. If danger comes, guess who fights? The worker ants. They'll fight off any type of danger that'll come. That's where they bite. The workers are very busy little ants. And God, we can learn a lot from the ant, how hard they work, how they keep things clean, how they take care of others, how they, are able to do all these different things. Those are things we can learn. That's why the Bible talks about the ant in Proverbs. It says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, and consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provided her meat in the summer and gathered her food in the harvest. Meaning ants, look at an ant and learn from an ant. No one has to tell an ant what to do, how to work hard. The workers don't have to be taught, oh, this is what you do. No, they just work hard. Okay, so let's look at 91 and let's talk about the queen. So there is only one queen in each colony. There can't be multiple queens, okay? And she's a lot different from the other ants. As you can see, her abdomen part is really big. It's a lot bigger than the other ants. That's because she lays eggs. So there can only be one queen in each colony. If another queen hatches from one of the eggs, she has to start her own colony. She'll have to leave the nest. She'll stay in the nest for some time, but eventually she'll leave the nest to start her own colony, a family of her own. The queen's only job is to lay eggs. That's it. So the workers do everything else, and the queen simply just lays eggs. That's all she does. That's all she does. So she doesn't tell the workers what they need to do. All she does is lay eggs, and she's the queen, but all she does is just lay all the eggs that the workers take care of. Okay? Probably so. So that's how God made it for ants. So the workers do most of the work in the colony. They fight the enemy. They mow the grass. They keep the rooms clean. They take care of the eggs. They take care of the queen. And the queen, her job is only to lay eggs. And if another queen hatches, that queen has to start her own colony. Okay? And so on page 92 and 93, these are just like some activities that you can do on your own time. Okay? Okay? All right. So that is it for our science. So this was our last lesson on insects. Next week we'll move on to plants, which is perfect because we're going into the springtime soon. So this is a perfect chapter to start. Okay, let's move on to social studies. So we are actually moving across the world today. We're on page 78, social studies. Stop doing that, please. 78. Social studies 78.
And we almost done with this. We are. That's what I was about to say.
All right. So if you look up here on the map so I can show you. So remember we have 7 continents. So we visited North America here where we went to Canada and Mexico. Last week we went to South America where we went to Peru. We learned about the farmers, the things they farm, and also the llama, that's one of the animals, and they also have parrots. So now we are going to a whole new continent. We're actually going to stay on this continent for a few weeks. You're looking at the map? So we're leaving Peru and we're going to come all the way across and we're going to visit some countries in this continent here. And this continent is called Europe. Okay? Europe. Say that. Europe. This is where we'll be for a couple of weeks. So today in particular, we are going to what's called England, right? Or the United Kingdom, but we'll call it England. And we're going to visit the capital city of London. Okay? So we're visiting England and we're going to go to London. That's the capital city. So let's go ahead. So this is the continent of Europe. This is where we'll be for a couple of weeks.
Europe is a big city.
Big country, continent. Okay. So we will fly over the Atlantic Ocean into the continent of Europe and we will finally land in the country of England and we will visit the city of London. So London is a city inside of England. Okay. And I'm sure you've heard of London, England before, right? Maybe so, maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, we're going to talk about it. Okay. London is the largest city in England. It is also one of the largest cities in the world. London is the capital of England, but it's also the capital of the United Kingdom, which it's like all the same parts, something like that. Okay, so the United Kingdom also includes the countries of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. They're all together. And so London is the capital of England. Okay, that's what we just need to know. Okay, so if you look at that picture there. This is one of the most famous places in London. This is called Buckingham Palace. So in America, we have a president, right? We have a president that we elect every 4 years. But in England, they have something different. They have a queen in England. Well, they have a king and queen, but right now they only have a queen. So the queen, and she's still alive, Queen Elizabeth, she's still alive in England. We'll look at some pictures tomorrow, but she is still alive currently, and she is still the queen in England now. That is where she lives, in Buckingham Palace. And so that's a famous place you could visit to see the queen. Her name is Queen Elizabeth. She's still the queen right now in England. Okay, so that's something about England and America, right? We have a president. They have a queen and king. Well, right now, like I said, they only have a queen. No king right now. They only have a queen. King. The queen has to die for the next king to come in place. Yeah.
Like the president?
Well, yeah, but okay. So let's look at this person here dressed. They are one of the guards that stand outside of Buckingham Palace, and they are very, very serious about their job. So people always try to distract them all the time to kind of get them off of their guard, but they usually never, ever break. And so tomorrow I'll show you some videos of how people act silly sometimes in front of the guards trying to distract them, but it doesn't work. Kind of like, maybe that's what Samson could have learned, right? From them, not to get distracted. So the London Zoo is the oldest zoo in the world. So yes, the zoo in London is one of the oldest zoos in the world. And they have something called the London Eye, which is a very large Ferris wheel. So I'll show you pictures tomorrow. And so that's just some cool extra facts about London. They have a really large Ferris wheel there as well. It's called the London Eye. So Buckingham Palace is where the queen lives, and we could see her there in her palace. Next, we can ride what's called a double-decker bus. So it's a bus that has 2 stories to it. There's a lower level, and then there's a top level inside of the bus as well. So that would be perfect to ride in, especially if you're trying to tour the city. You can sit on the top and, see a double-decker bus. So, if we keep riding around the city of England, we can see, if you look at that clock on page 79, that is a clock. It's a famous clock. And it's called the Elizabeth Tower. But the name of that clock is called the bell inside of the clock is called Big Ben. And it rings and it's loud, loud, loud. The hands on that clock are like 14 feet long. So, like our little clocks that we have, our little hands on our clock are not that long at all. But on this clock, the feet can be like 14 feet long. So it's a really huge clock. So that's another cool thing you can see in England, is the Big Ben. I want to say the Elizabeth is on the Elizabeth Tower. It's a clock, and it's a clock on all four sides. So it's a cube, right? We only see the front there, but it's actually on the side and the back and the other side. So it's on all four sides. You can see that. Okay. And so if you remember, this is where the Pilgrims left, right? They left England to come to America. Okay. And so look at their flag. Their flag has similar colors to our flag, right? It actually is the same colors. It's just the pattern and the design of the flag is different, but their colors are red, white, and blue. Just like our flag is just the design on the flag is different than ours. So in England, the people speak English. They do speak English like us, except they just have a different accent, meaning they sound different. When you hear their accent, that's how you know they're from England. And they also say different words, like they use different words for different things. Like, for example, they have a subway there, which is like riding the train, the subway, but they call it a tube. We would say a subway, like the subways in New York City, but they call it a tube. We would say policemen, they say bobbies. We would say fish and French fries, they say fish and chips. That's what they call it. So if we cook some fish and some French fries, we call it fish and French fries. They call it fish and chips. If we say an elevator, they call it a lift, which it does lift you, right? It does. If we say the trunk of the car, in England, they will say the boot of the car.
The boot.
Yeah, so that's different. We might say the hood of a car. They'll say the bonnet of a car. Yeah. We'll say, let's have a little afternoon snack. They'll say, let's have tea. Yeah.
Oh.
And we might say, let's eat some cookies. They'll say, let's eat biscuits. So yeah, so they do speak English like us, but they use different words for different things. So some of their words are the same as ours, and some of their words are different. It just depends on what it is. Okay, so this is England. In particular, we are actually going to London, which is a city inside of England. Okay, and this is on the continent of Europe. So we left South America, and now we're in Europe. And so we'll visit a bunch of different countries in Europe. We have France, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Holland, Norway, Italy, Germany, all of those places. So we'll be on this continent for a little while, because there's a lot of countries we'll visit. Okay, all right, so that's your social studies and our science. So remember, this week in language, we are learning adjective and adjectives. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. So make sure that you're practicing your definition. That's all you'll have to know for your test on Thursday. All you'll have to know is the definition of an adjective. So just keep that in mind, that you're practicing adjectives, that you're practicing. We wrote it down yesterday. We did.
And I don't even study.
Yep. So an adjective is a word that describes a noun, and we'll get into what actually adjectives are next week. All right. So that is it for us. We are completely done with everything. So did we go over our study yesterday?
I'm trying to get past the guard.
Okay. All right. So y'all have a good day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.